live? Are we live? Coming at you live. Like normally we have some music too. That's okay. No music today, everyone.
I was gonna
I'm
say no
sure.
Drake today.
No, it wasn't gonna be Drake. I try not to use the same artist over and over and over again. All right, so it says it's happening now. And we're live. Are we live? Normally it says when we're live. And did we? Live studio? They really gotta okay, we are live. Perfect. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. We'll drop over to our ordinary stage. Hey, smiling faces. Hi, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Hey,
Hello.
Harvey, how are you guys doing?
We're good. Good. Happy Friday.
A little bit behind, but it's entirely my fault for doing that. Welcome everyone to Friday Coffee again with Harvey and myself, and a special guest, Gabe. Hey, Gabe, how are you?
Good. I got my coffee. We're ready to do this.
There we go. Look. I'm repping Boston hardcore today. Do you guys know about Blank Street?
No, tell me more.
No.
You might find out about it later on. Don't worry about it. I don't want to spoil it for you. Right? It's like a good movie. Eventually, you'll find out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a local Boston chain. I think that seemingly has exploded. It might not even be from Boston. I don't want to put that out there in the ether and be wrong about it. But Gabe, you podcast.
I podcast. Yeah, I talk a lot on camera, so this is fun. Usually not live, but I like live.
You're normally not on the side of the table that you're on right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we have a show. We release 2 episodes a week. We've been doing this. We're in our 8th season. We've recorded already 12, so there's a lot more in the queue, and we're just having a lot of fun with it for sure. So yeah, it's fun being interviewed. This is a little bit nicer, I think, approach.
So and Arvi also, she's doing a podcast as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm typically on this side of the table, so
yeah, exactly.
Arvi brings a level of refinement that this show hadn't had previously. Not to say anything poor about
flattered
this guest host Nick, but I think we've definitely stepped it up a notch. It feels real. So, Gabe, I met you. I believe that you guys reached out to me about being a guest on a podcast, which happens from time to time. But as we were recording it, I was thinking damn, he would be a really good guest on our podcast. Well, this isn't really a podcast. This is a live show, I would say, to be fair. So that's how you ended up here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, thanks so much for the invite. Super excited to be here and talk to your network. And yeah, we reached out to you because of what you're doing and what you're building. We really love what you're doing. So we got excited about it and wanted our audience to see it. But yeah, a little bit about myself. I've been in sales my whole life. You can see I'm pretty gray, so it's been quite a journey. But yeah, sales development
will do that to you.
Yeah, early too.
Gabe is actually 23 years old, everyone, just so you're aware.
I'm younger than I look. Exactly. But funny story, I got into sales right out of school and kind of just rode the wave of sales all the way up until now. I'm the CEO of a company called Alley-Oop. We do sales development as a service. So we have, tens of thousands of phone calls going out every day. Supplied by amazing clients, and that's what we do.
Guys, we actually have 10 people listening to us right now. It seems that Gabe is very popular. Arvi, do you have any specific questions, or I can throw some his direction as well?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, since obviously you've been in it for a while, how's the phone side changed? Because I know we hear a lot, in terms of calling, and it's like, call calling is dead. I don't think that's true, but I'd love your opinion on it, how it's changed at least.
Well, I keep telling everyone cold calling is dead because I don't want anyone else to do it, just us, right?
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it's the worst. Don't do it. No. In seriousness, though, is it changed? For sure. I mean, I remember I was making calls when there was a wire attached to the phone and you actually had to push buttons. I don't know if you remember the ones that actually you turned and it had to spin around, right? When you were at my grandmother's house. But long story short, technology has evolved, but human to human interaction really hasn't. AI, of course, is unbelievable and we use it every single day, but we're not doing it to, completely wipe out or replace humans. We're doing it to augment and advance what they're doing today. So, cold calling really cuts through the noise. It creates the fastest, most immediate way to get action accomplished. And that's what we do. And we do it in a way in which it's different than most. We're not calling and sounding robotic or using just very formatted scripts. We're having human to human conversations. We're asking inquisitive questions. We're reaching out to the right people. But I think the big thing that has changed is the data, the technology, the dialers, the tools, the intent. Those things we've gotten much smarter in the marketplace to really make sure that we're not, when we are making phone calls, we're not just doing it in this spray and pray mentality, which was the case for decades, frankly, because no one knew how to do anything any better. But now with technology, we're able to really fine tune it and do it in a smarter way, all pun intended. And that's what we've been able to evolve into.
I love that. I actually have a specific question for you.
Okay.
I think this might be valuable to some of the audience. How are you guys handling the iPhone screenings?
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun ways that we like to
Wow.
handle it. When you see it on your screen, don't pitch, right? Don't sound like the AI bot that is also calling next to you, right? And up to the same prospect. We never want to pitch. I'm very vague. I say, hey, is this Gabe? Is this Gabe? Hello. And I'm just trying to get someone to pick up the phone. And once they do, or I keep it really sweet. I said, hey, this is Gabe. I just sent you a LinkedIn post. If it's easier to chat there, let me know. And that's it. And I don't try to keep it cryptic like smoke and mirrors, but I keep it simple to the point so they know there's a real person on the other line waiting to talk to you. And that's really what that screener is designed to do. It's designed to, filter out spam, filter out telemarketing, filter out, people who are just, auto calls on robo calls, and to make sure that the person who is reaching out to you is someone who authentically and genuinely wants to connect. But I like to drop other channels that I'm reaching them out to, so they know I'm a real person and I'm going to get a hold of them some way, somehow, some format.
No, I love that.
I have a question, and I like to think that I invented this concept, but we always talk so much about cold calling. Do we ever talk about warm calling?
Yeah, I love that, because I don't like to say cold calling. I love warm calling, but what I like to say, it's first calling. We're making a first impression. We're making the first call. We're making the handshake. You go to a networking event and you're going to meet people for the first time. They go to your booth, they shake your hand. That's a first approach, first impression. You go, through an email, or you go through LinkedIn, or you send a voice note or a video note. Any way you reach out to someone, it's the first time. It's kind of like dating, right? You go on the first date. You don't go on a cold date. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's go ahead and call it what it is. It's the first call. Now, warm calling is a best way to obviously create warmth and to create rapport and to build trust before that call goes out. So any way you can create a warm approach, whether it's a cold call and you're mentioning someone that or they have a mutual connection with, or a note, or a mention, or a referral, obviously those are always best. But yeah, warming up the call and giving people a reason, again, back to that earlier mention, giving them a true reason why you're reaching out, and to see if it makes sense to continue the conversation.
So yeah, the warm call concept, and you enlightened me to an even new dimension. I wasn't even thinking about it, but like, I have a network of 12,000. Like, I can go through that list and I can pick out 10 people that I haven't talked to recently, and I can dial them. Why do they have to be perfect strangers? But the other portion of it is, and this is the part that I like that you highlighted, from the aspect of, like, sometimes you talk to people that you're connected to on social media that never actually had a conversation with you before. So for all intent and purpose, it could be a cold call. But the reality is, maybe they've been watching your podcast, or maybe they've been listening to you or watching your LinkedIn posts for the last 3 months. So they see, Brian in their LinkedIn feed, and then all of a sudden they see Brian show up on their dialer, and they connect the two of them. There isn't that completely unfamiliarity there. It's like, oh, I know who he is, what he stands for, what he might be calling me for, as well, if I've never talked to him before. But also, don't just reach out to people when you want something from them. That's just a bad practice overall, right? Just like check in and see how they're doing. Like, check in on their kids. Like, how'd that baseball game go last week? Show a general interest in people, and don't make it disingenuous, because people can see through that as well. But yeah, warm calling, man. Is that my concept? Can I claim that?
I'm going to pay you royalty every time I say it. No, but seriously, like that's why content, what we're doing, like why am I right now at 10 a.m. in the morning when I'm running a company talking to you? Well, the reality is because it creates trust. I'll give you an example. I got on a call. It was a demo that one of my account executives was doing, and I got on to talk with the CEO. It was a second call, really kind of a negotiation call, and I do those a lot with the team. So I hopped on, and literally the first thing the person said, no, I've never met this individual, is, hey, did you get your dog yet? That's what they said. And I'm like, wait, who are you again? And the reality is I forgot that I posted a picture of my dog that we're getting soon on LinkedIn about a week ago. And he saw that and thought it would make sense to ask me that question. I never met this person, but instantly it was an immediate rapport. We're absolutely connected and starting to talk about dogs for 5 minutes before we negotiated a contract. And now we're clients and partners together. So the reality is content is so important. That's a function of warming up the conversation. Just because you may not get a like or a comment on your post, that content is truly warming those conversations up.
It's such a great story, Gabe. Unfortunately, my stories fall on the opposite end, where I see people I know and they complain about how much they see me in their LinkedIn feed, or tell me how some of the things that I share are stupid. Like, believe it or not, I actually get more views on Facebook than I do on LinkedIn, but it's a completely different audience. And actually now Facebook has decided to let me monetize my content because I have such a reach. So I shared that I can now monetize my content. Of course, some of my friends had some snide remarks about that. Like, oh, you're doing it for stars now, huh? Aren't you, Brian? I'm like, wow, thanks, buddy. Like, that makes you feel really good about it. But yeah, oftentimes, just because people aren't necessarily saying it to you, they may be seeing your content. I think that's one of the beautiful things about social media. People think it's some sort of like thing related to arrogance, that you'd feel so entitled to share your opinion with others. But frankly, like, the people that are most happy in this world are those that have the most amount of connections. How do you keep in touch with so many people? I have no idea. I don't have a better system
we're definitely in a different world than we've ever been. I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but over the last 5 years, I've been to one company conference. And it was paid for by the company. It was a vendor of ours that was intriguing us to come, and paid for the whole thing. And we had family and friends close by. So we're like, okay, let's make a trip out of it. My wife came with me. 1 in 5 years, yet we've quintupled the size of our business in the last 5 years as well. And so all from sitting in this chair and looking at my Canon camera talking to you. So it's all been able to be done through online communication, whether it's async content, podcasting, DMs, phone calls, Zoom meetings. And so, yeah, we're in a new world than we were, just 10 years ago, 5 years ago, really. And it's very, very interesting. So that's just the way that we are approaching the market. The way to keep things organized is we use tools and technology to really, overlay and lay on top of, tools like Instagram and Facebook, and of course LinkedIn, which is our big social media platform, to just make sure we're staying in touch with everyone the right way, and using those tools as reminders and follow-ups to remind us and keep us organized. I always say, if you can remember everyone you're talking to, you're not talking to enough people. So you have to make sure you're using tools to keep you organized.
Gabe, and Ari, I'm sure you have a great question, but we have a good question from an audience member as well here. And I think that Gabe could probably help out a lot. The question from Emily, and thank you for that, is, my team is having difficulty getting people to answer calls. They're dialing and leaving messages that go unreturned. Feedback is no one is answering the calls unless they accidentally pick up. Are you guys seeing that as well? Or because I know you do business development as well, RV. So
yeah,
you want to take that first, ladies first?
Oh, I was just going to say, honestly, probably won't be of much value there, because I'm a person that goes into warm calling more than cold calling. So typically I'm creating my relationship first, specifically on LinkedIn, and then we go into calls. So not much value there on my end.
Well, I think there's a lot of value, right? Because that's the concept. If you want to get a good connection rate, Do everything RV, and obviously Brian said about warm calling, myself included. If you have just straight cold calling that you're working on, there are tools and technologies and ways that you can really kind of, I don't want to say cheat, but you're really hacking the system. And what are ways that I'm talking about? You can buy scored leads and scored data. You can look at conversations that have happened in the past. So if people have the propensity to pick up the phone, there's a lot of tools out there that will say, hey, out of 100 people, these 30 actually typically pick up the phone. So call those people first. Calling direct dials and mobile numbers is always a great way to do that. Calling during different times between 8 and 9 in the morning and 4 and 5 p.m. are the best times to reach people, especially executives, because that's usually when they're not stuck in the meetings every single day. Now, how can you do that throughout the entire day? Do it with time zones. There's literally 3 to 4, time zones that you can look just across North America, that you can hit the 8 to 9, for your, between your 8 and 9, and then you can hit, 8 and 9 for your 9 to 10, right? So you can use the time zones and hit those windows across it. Those are just a few tricks and tools that you can use. Maybe you're not making enough dials. I don't know, but there's a lot of dialers out there that allow you to make a lot more.
Can you quantify that too for a second? What is enough and what is not enough?
Yeah, it's a moving target. Our reps are making 150 dials a day. Some of our reps are making 200 dials a day. It really depends, again, to that pickup rate.
How long does that take, by the way, for 150 dials? Is that all day long, or are they like knocking out that in an hour or so?
So there's 3 ways you can do dialing. There's one-to-one. So that's like click to dial. So you can click a dial like on HubSpot or Salesforce. Very specific one-to-one. I call those like the sniper approach. It's hyper specific. You're not looking for volume and you're using a click to dialer. The next is a power dialer. These are interesting. They will actually call almost automatically, technically automatically, but it's still going on a one-to-one ratio. So you literally hit play and it just starts making calls. And then the next person who picks up, it wins. And now you're talking to someone. Definitely more advanced. And you can make hundreds of dials a day throughout the day with a power dialer. And then a parallel dialer allows you to make multiple dials at once. So now you can call 5 people at the exact same time. And then literally it's like a game. Whoever picks up the phone first wins. And now you can make 500 dials in a day. The problem with parallel dialers is that the connection rate tends to go down because you're kind of doing more of you're doing a lot more spamming. But at the end of the day, those are options for you. And it depends on the ICP and who you're reaching out to.
Yeah. I will say on my end, it sparked while you were talking, Gabe. One thing I did previously, especially in the beginning of my business, when I was trying to, just talk to people more than anything, I would reach out to any connection on LinkedIn that I thought could be a good possible person to talk to. And I would just message them the night before and say, hey, I'm giving you a call tomorrow before 10 a.m. Or do you prefer a better time? Most of the time they'd say, oh, I'm not available, or hey, I'm not ready right now. So at least you'd get some type of response, because especially if they don't want to be called. But that's probably another way, more of a sniper approach, and like, go into 100 people, but probably like 10 people or so. But that's something you could probably do to generate some sort of interaction, whether it's, through LinkedIn, or they'll say, hey, call me at 12 instead.
I love this. We're like giving practical business development advice here live, right on Friday Coffee. Learn how to do some business, Dad. We'll switch it up. We'll switch gears here a little bit. I'm curious, and maybe this is a sensitive question, but like, how much time do you guys spend daily working?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I work a lot. My wife will tell me I work too much, but I'm kind of addicted to it. It's not work to me. It's just a lifestyle approach. I was on a phone last night from 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern with a CEO who was on the West Coast. Now, the reality is, like, could I have probably scheduled that? Sure, but he's signing the contract this morning. So, it's do that extra 10% is how I operate. And it's just something that I just love to do. But yeah, we're as a company, we actually have a unique schedule, and I'm going to throw this out there. We do half-day Fridays. So today, the whole company's out at 12 o'clock. And we work an extra hour Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we can take those 4 hours and apply it to Friday. Because to your point about not picking up the phone, a lot of executives don't pick up the phone on Fridays. right? They're not working as much either, right? So they're going up early on the weekends, especially over the summertime. So we like to kind of change up our hours a bit to make it approachable for us to reach out to people and have them connect as much as possible.
So you said an extra 10%. So that would mean that you're putting in 44 hours a week of work, or would you say it stretches?
No, I'm definitely putting in more than that for sure.
Okay, so Gabe doesn't want to share. RV.
I think definitely, like Gabe, I was gonna say I definitely work a lot, but I will say it also sometimes comes in cycles, and you guys probably have noticed the same thing. Sometimes it's like you're literally working, you don't even know how Saturday came up, and you still have stuff to do on Saturday. And other times it's, a little bit less where you're like, oh, I can, finish up and close my laptop at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday and then just go ahead and do something. Definitely more on the a lot part, but I will say I have cycles, and I try to. I mean, I'm also kind of a newer mom per se. I have a 4-year-old, so I try to get my afternoons in with him, from like 5 to 8 until he goes to bed. Otherwise, he'll yell at me to stop looking at my phone and answering emails. But
Yeah. So like for
yeah,
me, like if I were to take a business call at 10 to 11 o'clock at night, I would be sleeping in a different room in the house. Like that's how it would work in my household. So it's not even an option, right? Like
that's
contract tomorrow morning or otherwise, like it's gonna wait. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the way that I do it. But I am super interested nowadays because I feel more of a pull to invest more hours now. Do you guys share that sentiment as well? Or like, I know Gabe, it feels embarrassed to share his hours, but like, are you putting in even more hours now, Gabe, than you were putting in before because you feel like you have more output capability?
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm putting in more hours than we were doing 5 years ago because it's just the company is growing right now. And, when you're in growth mode, you kind of want to ride that wave of momentum. It's hard to start the popcorn, but once it starts popping, you don't want to
you don't
stop the
want to stop
microwave in
it.
the middle of it, right? So that's where we're at right now, just as a company. And to your point, it's cycle, right? But I will say, I also, I know you guys have kids too, and I have a daughter. She has a play today at 2 o'clock, her musical. She's in theater camp for the summer. I'm going to be there at 10 minutes
Yeah.
early in the front row. Like I've never missed
Sacred ground. Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never missed one thing my daughter has ever done for school, for sports, and she's
I love
done a lot. So that to me is why I do what I do. So yeah, did I do a call from 10 to 11 last night? Yeah, my family was sleeping. Is it always the case? No, not at all. But
Yeah.
I'm also going to only probably work 3 hours today and be at my daughter's recital. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I mean that's such an interesting concept, right? The CEO that runs $100 million company that misses his daughter's dance recital, is he really successful in the end, or is he not successful in the end?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think the same thing for me. I was going to say flexibility is more than it's what I count versus like amount of hours. So like when my son goes to sleep at 8, I'm usually, working on something on my laptop till 10 or 9, whatever, to catch up on things. Or like Gabe said, if I have something to do at 2 p.m., I have the flexibility to move that timing around.
so some of our audience members are doing 50 plus hours a week and their team is doing 40. But the thing is about that, and you have to be very careful, is indirectly as a leader, we influence the behaviors of our team members. So if they see you doing that, they feel a implied pressure to match and be lockstep with you. And I know that because I'm reading a book by the Basecamp guys. So it says it doesn't have to be crazy at work, where they say that you indirectly or inadvertently influence your team members regardless, based upon how you behave or what policies that you set. So if they see you burning the midnight oil, you're setting an example that they should do the same thing. But also conversely, Gabe is setting the example for his team that it's not okay to miss something that's important to you for work. So it kind of cuts both ways.
I have a question. How do you guys feel about messaging your team like late at night in Slack or emails, or do you like schedule them to go out in the morning?
I'll answer, but Gabe, go ahead. You're the guest, please.
So the answer to me is I warn them ahead of time. So I say, listen, everyone knows that I'm going to message you at off hours, but I don't want you to respond until you're back online. Right. Because I message people because when my brain is working and like, oh crap, I gotta, like, it's 9 o'clock at night. I gotta not forget that is in my brain. So I'm going to just say, hey, to my marketing director, hey, can you work on this? But I make sure that they know, like, work on it when you get back online in the morning, not I'm immediately wanting a response. So yeah, I usually do that because they know ahead of time. If they don't know ahead of time, scheduling is a good point. Scheduling messages that go out at 8, right? When everyone's back in office. I do that for the people that don't have that close relationship with me because I do want to respect their time for sure. But my team knows, hey, I'm going to message you over the weekend and at night. I don't want a response unless I'm literally asking for it. But yeah, it just get back to me when you're back online. Brian, what were you going to say?
Oh boy, your answer was so good that I forgot entirely. But I guess what I was going to summarize it is just like it kind of depends upon the individual as well. Plus, like we have an international team, so one of my co-founders, he's in Malaysia right now, so it's 10 o'clock at night for him. But he might message me at 6 p.m. and it's 6 a.m. for him. To the point of the 10 to 11 o'clock meeting, like 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock would really be a good time period for him. And we just try to kind of make time for it, but also like, I think it really highly depends on the individual, really.
Yeah.
You don't want to create an unspoken expectation, which is why it's good that Gabe is like, look, it's just part of my human behavior pattern. I'm going to fire stuff off.
Just ignore me.
Just ignore me. Like literally put my notifications on turned off and just deal with it in the morning. I'll call you if I really need you badly.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, great. I'm of a similar thing. Or I know if it's going to be something that might trigger them to want to respond, I'll just schedule it so that way, I'm not, unless it's urgent, of course. But I've worked for some bad leaders where the answer was expected no matter what. So that's why I asked, just to see, I guess, what's happening out there in the world.
That's the other aspect, is it might be implied more or less, and you go, oh yeah, don't worry about getting back to me, but then the leader is actually clocking you at the same time, and it becomes a sense of like your priority, what's important to you, like a reflection of that. It's like, no, asshole, like actually I have kids and I need the appropriate amount of time to get back to you. It's not I don't value what you need, it's just I have other things that I also need to address, right? So
it's funny you say that, because years ago when I actually had black hair, I learned that the hard way, right? So the reason why my team knows about my way of thinking and my expectation is because I learned that the hard way. And it was like right when I was first being a manager, I would ask someone on my team on a Sunday through a message if they can do this, and this. And their response to me was snippy and said, I'll get to it Monday, but thanks. And when I got that, I'm like, whoa, right? And instead of, being defensive, I said, why am I getting that from someone that I know, like, and trust? And it's because, they thought that it was maybe not the right thing to ask at that exact Sunday. And I didn't either. So when I met with him in the morning, I said, listen, it wasn't my intention for you to respond on Sunday. It was just my ADD is I'm thinking about this. And when you come back in on Monday, can you get this on your to-do list? That was my intention in the message, right? And sometimes text messages are misread, but that's why I preface it with everyone that works with me that, hey, I'm not looking for you to jump on a Sunday. I'm just looking for you to think about it.
Yeah.
When you walk in the morning.
Because someone that's not so bold may not even say anything, and then they may take offense to it, and then they just leave. They silently quit, right? They reduce their output for you because they're resentful for it. Believe it or not, guys, 30 minutes just flew by. That's what happens with this thing. It's wild. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's almost what it's like. If it was structured, you would go a little bit slower because you would kind of feel like you're moving through each of the segments. But because we just kind of free flow, it just goes by. But I close with this, like we had a pretty steady number of people dropping in and out. So that means I guess the conversation was pretty interesting and intriguing to people.
There we go.
I would just like to show my sign of appreciation first to our guest, Gabe. So thank you for being here and being such a great guest. And Arvi, thank you for helping to support the live event as well. Any closing words out of the two of you guys?
I'm going to close it with the World Cup thing. I'm
Whoa.
a Spain fan, so we're
Hey.
playing today, hoping that we win.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. It's been, like you said, it did fly by, and we talked about a lot of important points. So for anyone out there who is interested in continuing the conversation, I'm always accessible.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Gabe is super accessible. You can just literally message him on LinkedIn. He's got tens of thousands of followers. He will respond to you. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time, and have a great weekend.